You've been manifesting the wrong way your entire life, and it's not your fault. Let me explain. You made the vision boards, wrote the affirmations, felt the emotions, visualized the results, repeated the mantras. You followed every step the books described, everything the mentors insisted would work. And maybe something tiny did shift. You found a parking spot or someone bought your coffee. But the big things, the love, the money, the life you truly desire, still haven't arrived. And here's the part nobody told you. The reason it didn't work isn't that you weren't disciplined enough. It's not that you didn't believe hard enough. It's not because the universe is testing you or because you have some deep block you need to keep healing for another decade. The truth is simpler. You are only using half of the formula. You were shown how to visualize the outcome, but not how to collapse the wave. You were told to feel the emotion, but not how to generate coherence. You were taught to focus attention, but not that your attention itself is sculpting reality at the quantum level every second. Most people think manifestation means asking the universe for something and waiting, like placing an order at a restaurant. I'll take one soulmate. Medium rare, with a side of financial freedom, please. But the truth is far more profound. You're not attracting anything, you're collapsing it. You're not manifesting something outside of you. You're observing it into existence from a quantum field of infinite potential that already contains everything you could ever desire. And here's what almost nobody mentions. You're already doing this, right now. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly collapsing reality around your observation. The question isn't if you're doing it. It's whether you're doing it consciously. After years studying quantum physics, neuroscience, and consciousness mechanics, I discovered something. There's a precise formula, a specific alignment. When you understand it, when you match it, reality no longer resists you. It mirrors you, so let me ask, what if the life you want already exists? What if it's not about creating it, but tuning into the frequency where it's already real? What if you've been one subtle shift away this entire time, and no one ever told you what that shift was? By the end of this video, you'll understand the true quantum observer effect, not the pop science version, but the real one, the one that changes everything. You'll walk away with a framework, simple, elegant, and exact, a way to redesign your reality from the inside out. If that resonates, stay with me, because what I'm about to share isn't theory, it's mechanics. Let's go deeper. Let me show you something that will forever change how you see reality. In quantum physics, there's something known as the observer effect. Here's what it means. We turn at the subatomic level. Particles don't exist in fixed form until they're observed. Before observation, they're just waves of probability, infinite potentials, all existing at once. The moment a conscious observer looks, the instant attention lands, the wave collapses into a single outcome. This isn't philosophy. It's measurable, repeatable science. The double-slit experiment proves it. Particles act like waves when unobserved, but the instant you measure them, they collapse into matter, into form. Now here's where it gets profound. You are that observer. Your life, your relationships, your health, your finances, all of it collapses around your observation in every moment. But most people misunderstand what observation actually means. It's not just seeing and not passive awareness. In the quantum sense, observation is attention plus intention plus emotional resonance. It's focus merged with feeling. That combination sends a signal into the field, and then the field responds. Think of it like a radio. The music already exists on every frequency, but you only hear what you tune into. You don't create the music, you collapse into the frequency where it's already playing. That's exactly what you're doing with reality. You're not manifesting something from nothing. You're tuning, selecting, collapsing one timeline out of infinite possibilities. And here's the catch. Most people keep tuning into the same station. The frequency of lack, effort, and I need this to feel safe. So the field mirrors that, not because it's cruel, but because it's accurate. Let's talk about frequency, because that's the language of the quantum field. Every thought, every emotion, every belief you hold carries a vibration, and that vibration is constantly broadcasting into the field. Your nervous system is the transmitter. Your heart, brain, and cells are all emitting electromagnetic signals. And the field? The field is the receiver. Here's what no one tells you. The field doesn't interpret your words. It doesn't care what you say you want. It reads your frequency and reflects back a reality that matches it with exact precision. So if you say, I want abundance, but your body is vibrating with scarcity, if you're gripping, controlling, checking your bank account every few minutes with fear in your chest, the field doesn't hear abundance. It reads panic and gives you more experiences that match it. This is why affirmations alone don't work. You can say, I am wealthy 1,000 times, but if your energy, your body, your emotional tone still hums, I'm afraid I won't have enough, the field only mirrors that. That's the frequency the field locks onto. Words are just noise. Vibration is the signal. And here's the elegant, maddening truth. You can't fake frequency. You can't outsmart the field because frequency isn't born from what you do. It's born from what you are. It's not about what you're saying. It's about what you're embodying. Most people try to manifest from the future while still vibrating from the past. They visualize the relationship. While feeling loneliness, they picture the wealth while clutching fear. And the field replies, understood too, you want more loneliness, more fear? Here you go. The shift begins when you stop trying to get there and start being there. When your frequency matches the reality you're calling in, that's coherence. And coherence is, everything. Let's go deeper into coherence. Because this is where the science turns beautiful. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field, and it's 5,000 times stronger than the one created by your brain. 5,000 times. Let that sink in. When scientists measure the heart's electromagnetic field, they can detect it several feet beyond the body. It's not trapped in your chest. It radiates outward, constantly interacting with the fields of everyone and everything around you. This isn't poetry, it's physics. Now here's what researchers like Dr. Joe Dispenza and the HeartMath Institute discovered. When your heart and brain synchronize and when your heart's rhythm matches the frequency of your thoughts, you enter a state of coherence. In coherence, your electromagnetic signal becomes focused, powerful, and precise. Think of it like this: when your heart and brain are misaligned, you're broadcasting static, mixed frequencies. The field receives signals like, I want this, but I'm scared, but I still want this. What if it fails? Noise, confusion, and the field mirrors that confusion back as mixed results, half manifestations, almost but not quite realities. But when coherence is achieved, when your thoughts and emotions move in harmony, when your mind knows and your heart feels at once, you emit a clean, coherent command. And the quantum field doesn't resist coherent commands. It responds instantly. That's why you can't just think your way into a new reality, and you can't just feel your way there either. You need both. Thought without emotion is static. Emotion without thought is chaos, but thought plus emotion, aligned, coherent, that's creation. I'll say it again, because it's everything. The quantum field responds to coherence, not effort. You don't need to grind harder at manifesting. You don't need endless rituals or longer visualizations. You need alignment. You need your heart and brain to agree so completely that there's no resistance, no contradiction, only unity. And here's the paradox. This doesn't happen through force. It happens through embodiment, by becoming the frequency of what you desire so fully that you no longer need it to feel whole. Because the version of you who already has it isn't chasing, they're not trying, they're simply being. So the question becomes, how do you create coherence? How do you align the heart and brain? How do you become the frequency instead of running after it? That's what we're about to uncover. Because there's a method, a real, tangible formula, and it's simpler than you think. But first, let's talk about why most people stay stuck, even when they already understand all of this. Ready? Let's keep going. Here's where almost everyone gets trapped. And it's not what you think. You've been told to visualize your future self, imagine the life you want, and feel the emotions of already having it. And yes, that's a powerful start. But here's the problem. You've been rehearsing the wrong identity. Let me explain. Every single morning, you wake up and perform a version of yourself. The way you move through your routine, the thoughts that surface as you brush your teeth, The emotions that arise when you check your phone, all of it is rehearsal. You're practicing an identity, and that identity is creating your reality. But most people are rehearsing their past. They recycle yesterday's thoughts, repeat yesterday's emotions, replay the same beliefs, and relive the same reactions over and over again. Every time you repeat a thought, you fire a neural pathway. Every time you replay an emotion, you reinforce it chemically in your body. And with time, those pathways turn into highways. Those emotions become your baseline. That identity becomes your automatic self. So maybe you have a vision board of your future, but your nervous system is still wired to your past. You might visualize abundance, but your body is addicted to the chemistry of lack. You might imagine confidence, but your subconscious is still looping programs of unworthiness that have run for decades. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your reality isn't reflecting what you want. It's reflecting who you've been being. That's why people can practice every manifestation method under the sun and still stay stuck, because techniques happen in moments, but identity forms through repetition. If you spend 23 hours a day being the old version of yourself, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, replaying the same patterns, and only 1 hour saying affirmations, the math simply doesn't add up. The quantum field doesn't respond to your 1 hour of effort. It responds to your 23 hours of embodiment. So the shift isn't about adding more practices. It's about becoming someone new. It's about rehearsing a new identity so consistently that your nervous system rewires, your emotional baseline resets, and your subconscious updates its programs. This is what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls becoming supernatural. It's not about doing more. It's about being different. And being different requires repetition. Not fake it till you make it repetition, but authentic, embodied rehearsal of the frequency of who you're becoming. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And if you want to change what you're attracting, you have to change who you're being. Not occasionally, not just during meditation, but consistently, until the new identity isn't new anymore, until it becomes natural, until it simply becomes you. And that brings us to the next layer, because even when you start embodying your new identity, there's a trap waiting, a subtle mistake that derails almost everyone. Let's talk about it. Here's the paradox that breaks most people. The moment you need it, you push it away. Let me say that again. The instant you need something to feel okay, to feel worthy, to feel whole, the moment you grasp, chase, or obsess over it, you create the frequency of lack, and lack repels. This is the cosmic irony of manifestation. The thing you want most is the thing you must stop needing, not stop wanting, stop needing. There's a difference. Wanting comes from expansion, from curiosity, inspiration, creation. It's light, it's open, it's playful. But needing comes from fear, from scarcity, from the belief that without this thing, you're not enough, and that belief carries a vibration. The quantum field reads it instantly. So when you're gripping the steering wheel with white knuckles, trying to control every outcome, searching for signs, wondering when it's coming, feeling anxious that it hasn't arrived, you're not manifesting. You're reinforcing separation. You're broadcasting, I don't have it. I'm not connected to it. I'm missing it. And the field mirrors that perfectly. The real manifestors, the ones who live in effortless flow, they're not the ones hustling the hardest. They're the ones who've mastered the art of surrender, not giving up. Surrender, there's a massive difference. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means I know what I want. I've set the intention. I've aligned my frequency. And now I release the outcome. I trust the field. I trust the timing. I trust that if this version doesn't arrive, something even better will. I'm not attached to the how or the when. I'm devoted only to the frequency. And here's where the magic happens. The moment you stop needing, stop grasping, stop obsessing, and the moment you relax into trust, that's when the field can finally deliver. Because now, you're vibrating at having, not lacking. You're resonating with abundance, not scarcity. You're tuned to the frequency of the version of you who already has it. And that version? They're not desperate, they're certain now. Let's talk about time, because almost everything you've been taught about time is wrong. You think time moves in a straight line. Past, present, future, as if you're here and what you want is somewhere out ahead, waiting for you to reach it. But quantum physics reveals something wild. All possibilities exist simultaneously, right now. Not in the future, now, in different states, frequencies, and timelines. The version of you in love already exists. The version of you that's wealthy, confident, healthy, they already exist. They're not ahead of you in time. They're happening now, in parallel probabilities. And the only thing separating you from them is frequency. You're not creating your future, you're collapsing into it. You're not building something new. You're tuning into something that's already there. Think of it like this. Every possible version of your life exists as a wave of potential. And the instant you match the frequency of one of those versions, when your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and identity align, that wave collapses. And that version becomes your lived reality. That's what people mean by a quantum leap. You're not slowly climbing toward a goal. You're shifting timelines. You're stepping into a different version of. Now, and here's the astonishing part. The future you, the one living your dream reality, isn't hoping it works out. They're not manifesting or looking for signs. They already have it. They are it. And the frequency they're vibrating at, that's the frequency you must embody now, not later. Not once it happens, now. Because when you become it now, it appears. That's the sequence. Being first, having second. Never the other way around. So how do you do that? How do you step into the frequency of the version of you who already has it? That's what we're diving into next. Let's break down the framework. Here's the equation, the formula. Nobody explained. Yet it's simpler than you think. Observer plus frequency plus coherence plus identity plus surrender. Reality shift. Let's unpack it. Observer. You're not a passive player in reality. You're the one collapsing the wave. Your attention, your focus, your consciousness. These are the tools. So the first step is this realization. I am not at the mercy of reality. I am creating it, frequency, every thought. Every emotion you have is a vibration, and that vibration is the signal you're broadcasting to the field. So the second step is to ask yourself, what frequency am I currently sending out? Is it aligned with what I want, or with what I've always had? Coherence, your heart and brain must move in harmony. Thought and emotion have to sync. You can't think abundance and feel scarcity. You can't picture confidence and still feel fear. The third step is to create coherence and to make your inner state match your desired outer state identity. You have to rehearse the new version of yourself, not once in a while, but daily, relentlessly, until it's no longer an act, but a memory your body already knows. The fourth step is repetition, rewiring your nervous system, reprogramming your subconscious, embodying the frequency until it becomes your baseline. Surrender. You have to loosen the grip. Stop needing. Stop overthinking. Stop chasing. Trust the field. Trust the timing. The fifth step is letting go of attachment while staying devoted to the frequency. When all five align, when you observe consciously, vibrate intentionally, create coherence, live the new identity, and surrender the outcome, reality shifts. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it. This isn't magic, it's mechanics. It's the science of how consciousness interacts with the quantum field. And once you grasp it, once you practice it, you stop chasing reality, you start collapsing it. So let's get practical. Let's talk about how you apply this and what it looks like day to day. We'll go step by step. Here's what I want you to do when starting tomorrow morning. Step 1, morning coherence. Before you grab your phone, before you check messages, before the rush begins, sit up in bed, place your hand over your heart and breathe, slowly, deeply. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4, exhale for 6. Feel your heartbeat under your palm. And as you breathe, summon a sense of gratitude, not for something you want, but for something you already have. Your breath, your body, the rising sun, anything. Stay here for 3 minutes, just 3, and feel your heart and brain begin to sync. Feel the coherence forming. This isn't woo-woo. This is you regulating your nervous system and setting your frequency for the day. Step 2. Embody the identity. Throughout your day, keep asking, how would the version of me who already has this show up right now? How would they walk into this meeting? How would they respond to this message? How would they feel in their body? You're not pretending. You're practicing, you're rehearsing. And every time you choose to be that version, even for 5 seconds, you fire new neural pathways. You build new emotional patterns. You shift your baseline frequency. Step 3. Catch the contradictions. Notice the moments when you slip back into the old frequency. When you check your bank account with fear. When you scroll social media with comparison. When you think, I'm not there yet, catch it. Don't judge it. Just notice and then gently shift back. Ask, what would the version of me who already has this be thinking right now? What would they be feeling? That's the practice. Not perfection, just awareness. Every time you catch yourself and shift, you're retraining your subconscious, you're collapsing into a new timeline. Step 4. Release the grip. At the end of the day, before you sleep, do this. Visualize what you want, feel it, see it, embody it completely for 60 seconds. Then say, out loud or in your mind, I release this to the field. I trust the timing. I trust the process. I know it's already done, and then let it go. Don't check for signs before bed. Don't obsess. Don't replay it. You've sent the signal. Now trust the field to respond. This 4-step process, morning coherence, daily embodiment, catching contradictions, and nightly release is how you create sustained frequency alignment. It's how you stay in coherence long enough for the field to reflect it back. It's not about one powerful visualization session. It's about becoming the frequency and consistently, day after day, until your nervous system believes it, until your subconscious accepts it, until your reality has no choice but to match it. And when you do, you'll start noticing something. Synchronicities, opportunities, people, resources, moments you couldn't have planned, forced or predicted. They just start appearing. Not because you worked harder, but because you aligned deeper. That's the quantum observer effect in motion. You're no longer waiting for reality to change so you can feel better. You're changing your frequency, and reality reorganizes around you. Let me paint the picture. You wake up, and instead of reaching for your phone, scrolling through anxiety, you place your hand on your heart. You breathe. You create coherence. You start your day from center, not from chaos. You walk into your work, your relationships, your routines, and you're no longer performing. You're not trying to prove your worth or convince anyone of anything. You're simply being. And that being radiates a frequency, a resonance, a magnetism. People notice. They can't explain it, but they feel it. You're the same person, yet completely different. Calmer, more certain, more present, less effort, more flow. Opportunities start showing up, not because you chased them, but because you became the frequency that attracts them. The offer, the idea, the conversation, the connection, things you once missed while forcing, controlling, gripping, now find you because you're open, you're receptive, you're coherent, and the field responds. Your nervous system begins to trust you. It stops living in survival mode. It stops scanning for danger, replaying the past, worrying about the future. It relaxes into the present, and in the present, you access infinite possibilities. You stop needing validation to feel worthy. You stop checking your bank account with panic. You stop scrolling social media with comparison. Because you're no longer seeking, you're generating. You're sourcing your state from within, and that changes everything. The relationship you once wanted, it's no longer a need. It's a desire, and that shift in frequency from need to desire opens the door. The money you were chasing, it begins to flow, not because you worked harder, but because you stopped vibrating at lack. This is what happens when you master the quantum observer effect. You stop being a victim of circumstance. You stop blaming the universe, your past, your luck. You realize, I am the observer. I am collapsing the wave. I am the one creating this. And with that realization comes radical responsibility and radical power. You're not manifesting anymore. You're designing, you're not attracting. You're collapsing, you're not hoping. You're becoming, and the quantum field, it's never been against you. It's been reflecting you, because that's what it does. That's what it's always done. It mirrors back the frequency you hold, and when you hold the frequency of the reality you desire consistently, coherently, completely, that reality becomes inevitable, not someday now, because it already exists. You're just finally tuning into it, finally collapsing into the timeline where it's real. That's the transformation, that's the shift, and it's available to you right now, not when you're ready, not when you're healed enough. Now, so let me ask you, where in your life are you still vibrating at the frequency of lack? Where are you still gripping, controlling, needing, obsessing? Where are you still performing the old identity, even though the new one is waiting? Because here's the truth. You can know all of this intellectually. You can understand the quantum observer effect, frequency, coherence, identity, surrender. You can nod along and say, yes, this makes sense. But knowing isn't the same as embodying. Understanding isn't the same as becoming. The real question is, are you willing to do the work? Not the work of adding more techniques, but the work of being different. The work of catching yourself every time you slip into the old frequency and choosing the new one. The work of coherence, of repetition, of surrender. Because that's where the magic happens. Not in the knowing and in the doing. In the being, and I won't lie, it's not always comfortable. Rewiring your nervous system takes courage. Letting go of control takes trust. Believing before the evidence shows up. That takes heart, but here's what I know. The version of you who already has the life you want, they've done this work. They made the shift. They became the frequency. And now, they're living it. And the only difference between you and Themis, a choice, a decision, a commitment to align. So I'll ask you again, are you ready? Ready to stop being a passive observer and become an intentional creator? Ready to stop chasing reality and start collapsing it? Because if something inside you just whispered yes, you're already shifting. The fact that you're still here, still listening, still leaning in, that's not an accident. That's the field responding to the frequency you're already beginning to emit. So let's keep going. Let's go even deeper, because this is just the beginning. Here's what I want you to do right now. If you felt something shift while watching this, if something clicked, resonated, if you felt like you just remembered a truth you'd forgotten, hit that subscribe button. Not because I need the numbers, but because you're choosing to stay in this frequency. You're choosing to be part of a community that's done playing small, done waiting for permission, done settling for the old reality. This space, this channel, this conversation, it's for those who are ready to collapse timelines, ready to master the quantum observer effect, ready to redesign their reality from the inside out. And if you want to go even deeper, drop one word in the comments, and just one. A word that captures your energy right now, the word that represents the frequency you're choosing to embody. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's trust, maybe it's power, whatever it is, write it below, because when you name it, you claim it, and I want to see what frequency this community is holding. Also, and this part matters, share this video with one person, just one, someone who's been stuck. Someone who's been trying to manifest but can't figure out why it's not working. Someone who needs to hear this. Because the more people who understand this, the more the collective frequency shifts, and that benefits all of us. So subscribe, comment, share. Let's build this movement together. You're no longer waiting for your reality to change. You're becoming the frequency that changes it. I'll see you in the next one. Stay aligned.